We haven't talked about this on the show yet, but going back to last week, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series announced a complete reconfigure of their early season Speedweek schedule for 2026. And I've seen some of you in the comment sections asking me about this, so I definitely wanted to cover it. But now, instead of basically being done before Dirt Car Nationals, Lucas has shifted all of their events until after DCN and the Daytona 500. The season will open February 19th at Alltech and run through March 7th at Golden Isles. Series director Rick Schwally cited the need for a longer off-season and unpredictable weather as reasons for the move. If you take a step back, though, and look at the full picture, with Hunt the Front back at Needmore and Screven holding Winter Freeze in early February, Speedweeks is still going to be busy and packed with a lot of races. There's going to be days off between Needmore and Screven, and again between Volusia and Alltech that hadn't really previously been there. But there are still 25 scheduled races between January 22nd and March 7th. This idea of an effectively non-existent dirt late model offseason is true for those teams that decide to race at events like the Dome in December and then the Wild West Shootout at Vado in January. But let's be real here, neither of those events are sanctioned, and teams can skip them if they really wanted the time off. The Lucas schedule is done in October, and the Outlaws in very early November. Even with the Outlaw season starting again in late January, those teams would still have the rest of November, all of December, and a decent amount of January off. At some point, the teams need to shoulder some of the blame for creating their own situations. I'm not advocating for less cars at the Dome or less cars at Vado, but I'm apt to have a bit less sympathy for those guys. If there are events to be raced, some of these teams just can't help themselves, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. We love racers who race. But as is the case for a lot of stuff, it's like the teams need to be saved from themselves. For some comparison, right now on May 28th, the driver on the sprint car side with the most starts this season is Anthony Macri. He's raced 28 times. But in late model racing, we have guys at nearly 50 races already. Both Brandon Shepard and Tyler Erb have 49 dirt late model starts. So do I think that Lucas moving these races until after the Daytona 500 will suddenly give teams a longer offseason? No, I don't. A few will take advantage, but most will head south in January or early February to run. And this might even allow more teams to go to Vado, especially knowing they wouldn't need to then super truck back to Florida or Georgia if they're chasing Lucas. We'll see how it all eventually plays out, but those are just some of my early reactions to the news. Drop your thoughts, let me know what you think about the Lucas change and how it will affect the teams.